Hey, friend, welcome back to Call Her Creator, the podcast where we talk about what it really takes to build a brand, a business, and a life you love through social media. I'm your host, Caitlin Rhodes, creator, coach, and CEO of Influence Marketing Studio. And every week we go beyond the algorithms and trends to talk about what's actually working right now behind the scenes in the creator space and in business. Today's conversation is a must listen if you've ever felt like your energy, focus, or even your creativity has hit a wall. Because we're diving into the health side of high performance with my guest, Dr. Sienna Olson. She is a chiropractor and wellness expert for entrepreneurs and creators, and she's truly became one of my bestest work besties. We met at the Powerhouse Women event. I'm so excited. If you're ready to work smarter, not harder on your content this month, I have to tell you about the newest tool I've been obsessed with. It's Stanley AI. It helps you take your existing content, podcasts, videos, captions, or even your notes, and it instantly repurposes it into social ready reels, emails, posts, whatever it is. It's seriously one of the best tools I've used to save time, and it helps you come up with different content ideas. So it's one of my favorite things from Stan Store. I will link it in the show notes. You have to try Stanley AI today. All right, let's get into today's episode. So, as I said, I got to meet Sienna. We're in the same mastermind, right? Let me take you back to the summer. We're in the same mastermind. I've seen her on the mastermind, seen her face, seen her name, everything. But then I'm at Powerhouse Women event. I'm like, oh my God, that girl is so beautiful. She's wearing the most gorgeous outfit. So I just came up to her and I was like, hey girl, I love your outfit. And she's like, oh my God, Caitlin. And then I was like, oh my God. And then we were connected at the hip the whole weekend, but I miss you. How are
I
you?
miss you. That's like one of my favorite moments ever. Because going back beyond the powerhouse event and that little serendipitous moment, I remember when we first joined the mastermind, and you can see like a list of all of the members. And I was just scrolling through, getting to know people's faces. And I remember pointing you out to my husband, and I was like, I'm going to be this girl's friend. I knew nothing about you. I just was like, this is the one I want to be friends with.
You
I
like
picked
the
her.
energy. Yes.
Yeah, and then Powerhouse happened, and you're like, "I love your outfit." And I'm like, "Divine timing. I just knew it. We were gonna be friends."
Literally divine intervention. And then we hooked up with Michelle was already with Sienna, but we were the three little musketeers and pool days
Yeah.
and dinners. And it was just really amazing. I highly suggest going out to masterminds and talking with friends because you're a lifelong connection now and I love you and I can't wait to explore this conversation with you.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. I'm excited.
Yay. All right. So let's start, I guess, by telling people more about you and what you do, who you help, and then we can kind of get into, like the health aspect of everything because for everyone listening, you know that I've been sharing my own health journey right now with Hashimoto's and it really has it's like soul sucking with my business and I think to run a very successful business, you have to also be healthy and your best self. So, introduce us to who Sienna really is.
Yes. So, as you mentioned, I'm a chiropractor. So I have a doctorate in chiropractic. I also have my master's in sports medicine, and I've been practicing for the last 5 years now. And I also have my own online coaching business where I really work with entrepreneurs, high performers, women especially, and really help them break the all or nothing cycles. Because, especially if you're a creator or an entrepreneur, it is so easy to get stuck in the 100 miles per hour going, going, going. And then you look up and you probably achieved your goal, but now you feel like crap and you're like, how did I get here? And then it takes you a million years or forever to recover and try to kind of tap back into that healthy living. So I really try to help women, again, break that all or nothing cycle because there's a way that you can go for it in a way that's healthy and realistic. It's just a matter of finding the right strategy for you to keep you optimized and performing at that high level.
Was there something in your own life that, like, for me, with my social media agency, I feel like there was something internally in me that I wanted to solve. So, was there something that happened with you that got you into this space?
Yes. So There's so many things that led me to be a chiropractor and led me to start coaching, but I think the biggest thing for me was when I was in high school, I was a big runner. I was running cross country all through middle school, high school, ran like half marathons through college, and I loved it. But one of the things with running is that it is almost encouraged to be really small because the smaller you are, the faster you are. And it makes sense. I mean, like, you just have less weight that you need to carry and you can just turn over a lot faster. So, especially with the girls on the team, it kind of was cool to have disordered eating patterns and habits. So, I would say about 15 is when it started for me, where I really started to track my calories. And then I also would project like how much I was going to burn on my runs. So, let's say I was going to run 9 miles that day. I would assume I was going to burn 900 calories. So, then I would make sure that I was only eating 900 calories that day.
And you
Yeah.
were how old did you say? 15?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So it was a vicious cycle of being very restrictive. And then I would pick one day per week where I would just eat whatever I wanted. So, like, full binge, because when you're eating that little and having that high of output, your body really is just like, what's going on? And especially at that age, too, with hormones and everything, it really turns into a hot mess. So I was just running myself into the ground. And then I went to college and I was working out at the gym. And one of the trainers came up to me and he said, I think you'd be really great at bodybuilding, like doing bodybuilding competitions, like doing bikini and things like that. And I had looked up to so many people who did those competitions, like those Oxygen Fitness magazines and Women's Health. And like, oh my gosh, maybe I could be one of those girls. Like, let's do this. Like the glitz, the glam. I know I'm great at dieting. I love it. And so I started doing that. And it was kind of eye opening in a way because it really taught me how to eat like that, but then it came at the cost of eating the way that these women eat to get ready for the stage. But it takes it to the next level because, especially if you're getting on stage, it's not about just losing weight. You really have to get to that like very lean stage lean. So that requires a lot of cardio, like very restrictive diet. You're like measuring and tracking every single thing that you put in your mouth, no extra bites, no extra sips, like, it is very, like, hardcore. So I did 3 shows total, and my last show, I actually got really sick right before, like, I think I got food poisoning, actually. Like, it was the day of one of my shows, got
Oh,
really sick with food poisoning, and I lost an additional, like, 8 pounds in 2 weeks, and then I had my final show. So my final show, I got down to 125 pounds, which is the lightest I've ever been in my adult life. I was 19 at the time, and I'm 5'7" for reference, which for someone who's my height and works out like this, 125 was tiny. I remember my sister seeing me in real life and she was like, "You look like a cancer patient." I'm like, "Yeah, I
you
do. I kind of feel like it right now because it's just like death."
did you feel good on the inside?
Oh, no. No, no. I felt terrible. It was like I would wake up and I would have to go do my cardio for an hour, then I would eat my breakfast, and then I would go to class because I was in college at the time. So I'd go to 3 hours of classes, and then I'd have to go right to the gym right after that because if I went home, I would just crash.
Yeah.
And then after the gym, I would have to go home and I'd have to attempt to take a nap. And I say attempt because my cortisol and everything was just through the roof. It was the classic wired but tired sensation. So I would just lay in my bed for 2 hours and then I'd be like, okay, I have about 2 hours left in me before I'm really going to crash out for the day. And so I would have to spend that time eating and studying at the same time. So it's just like a very like strategic way of using the energy that I did have to just try and get through it.
Mm.
And then once I finished my very last show, um, I kind of went just balls to the wall. Like there's no other way to put it. Because when you have been restricting for so long, and once you start eating food that you weren't allowed to eat, it's really hard mentally to kind of be able to eat like a normal person and not just gorge because your hormone levels change and your ability to kind of recognize your hunger cues again takes a lot of practice and strategy to get through that. So I went through the same cycle I did through high school where I would start every Monday only eating 1,200 calories. I was still doing my 2 hours of cardio, but then I would get to the weekend and I would just binge. Like one of my favorite things to do during this time on Fridays was go to the grocery store and pick out my favorite snacks, thinking that these snacks were going to last me through like the entire month. And I would eat through all of them in a weekend.
Oh my gosh. So
So
very healthy
this
habit.
whole cycle, lasted for about 5 months, and I went from 125 pounds to 174 pounds in 5 months, so 50 pounds in 5 months, and it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my whole life. Not just physically, but just mentally feeling so lost in my body, like, I felt like I was going through the ultimate betrayal. And I remember there was one night after one of my binge episodes, I was laying down and I had to go use the bathroom. So I got up, went pee, then I laid back down in my bed and I felt like I was having heart palpitations. Like my heart was pounding. I had shortness of breath. And mind you, I did not climb any stairs to get to my toilet. It was just like 5 feet from my bedroom, my bathroom, and just coming back to that resting state. Everything was just so ramped up, and I remember laying in bed, and again, I'm like 19, 20 at this time, and I was like, "I'm going to die." Like, I felt like I literally was going to die, which kinda sounds dramatic, but just how I was feeling, it just felt so anxiety inducing and just like, "This is not me." Like, it felt like a real crossroads moment for me where I was like, "If I don't change something, I'm going to become a version of myself that I did not ever imagine becoming." I
Oh,
was pushing and pursuing this small, fit girl who does all the things and has everything dialed in, but I was not looking the part at all, and I was not living the life that I wanted to live either. And so that for me was kind of my God moment where I was like, "Okay, we gotta, like, touch some grass and change what you're doing because obviously what you're doing to yourself right now is not working." And what I was doing was coming from a place of self-hate too, which does not help anyone when you're trying to change yourself. So that was the big shift for me, and going through all of that and also the healing and recovering process through, trying to repair my hormones, my metabolism, and everything really is a thing that's inspired me to help women through all of this because I've lived through the all or nothing cycle. I've
mm,
lived through trying to pursue a degree in higher education, build a career, all the things, and have my health just totally give out on me.
Okay, so wow, I just wanna hug you.
I know. I know. I look back at pictures and I'm just like, "Oh, if I could just, like, go back and sit on the bed with her and just be like, 'You're gonna be okay, but just, like, be kind to yourself.'"
Oh my gosh, so you get to this moment and you feel like truly, like, that's everybody you find. I feel like the biggest transformations in life in general come when you're at your last straw and you were at that moment in your life, like, "If I don't change, I'm gonna die." Like, it was that serious. So, walk me through the next 30 days after you got to that point. What happened?
So the next day, I remember I was like, "Okay, you're gonna step on the scale. You're gonna weigh yourself. You're gonna take some pictures, and you're just gonna accept it. Like, you're not gonna have bad feelings about it. This is just where you're at, and it's gonna be okay." So, stepped on the scale the next day, and my weight was actually up to 176, which makes sense with all the things that I consumed. But it was the first time I ever stepped on the scale and was just okay with it. There
Mm,
wasn't any negative feelings, there wasn't any positive feelings, it was just a neutral feeling.
mm,
And then I was like, "We're just stopping everything." Like, no more cardio. You're just gonna have fun in the gym. You're gonna go for walks. You're gonna focus on sleep. I didn't track my food for a really long time because I just really needed to remember what it felt like to be hungry.
Mm.
and remember what it felt like to be full. Because when you're in that conditioned state of, I have to eat everything because I'm not going to be able to eat this again because of these rules that I've placed on myself, it really does change your ability to regulate your hunger. So for the next 30 days, I cut back all of my cardio because I was doing like 2 hours of cardio a day still.
Oh my
Just trying to like literally outrun myself. It's crazy. So I stopped all of that. And then I didn't follow like a specific workout resistance training program for the next 30 days. Like, just go play. Like, go play on machines, go play with weights that you haven't played with, just feel your body. How does it all feel? Just fall in love with the gym again. Because the gym had turned into, like, a torture chamber for me,
oh my
and
god.
I love working out. It's like my happy place now, and it was my happy place before, so I really just kinda took a step back and was like, "We just need to reinvent and go on a date with yourself." Like,
Mm,
just remove all the ideas that you have about yourself. Just act like you are just meeting yourself again and take yourself on dates.
I love that. Did you, pick and choose food? Like, were you like, "Okay, I'm gonna be healthier with my meal choices," or were you just like, "I'm just gonna try to eat normal first?"
I was still trying to follow the meal plan that I had when I was getting ready for my shows,
Okay.
which
Is that restrictive? I'm
yes,
assuming that
it was
was very
it was so
restrictive.
it was so restrictive, and it was a set meal plan. It wasn't like, macro-based tracking where you can, like, kinda pick and choose what you wanna eat and make it fit within your calorie budget. It was, like, set foods. Like, for example, my breakfast was ground turkey and broccoli in the mornings.
Ew.
So I cut that out. I was like, "What do you wanna eat for breakfast?"
Oh
That's
my
like a
god.
normal person. And so I started having smoothies, like protein smoothies,
Okay.
because I never ate fruit. Like, fruit was bad because of all the sugar. So I started having smoothies because that sounded really good, and I added, like, peanut butter, almond butter to them, which was a treat because I really cut that out too because all the fats in it.
Mhm.
And I just chose, like, more fun, healthier choices,
Okay.
and I also, just with the binge eating part, I did cut out some of the trigger foods for me, so, like, I really, like, loved well, I still love cookies, but, like, I love brownies and cookies and froyo, like, that was my
Mm,
thing. And I
yes.
cut it out, and I would still have, like, little bites here or there, but I quickly realized that, like, with those things, it wasn't the actual cookie, brownie, or froyo. I really just wanted the chocolate in it. And
Mm,
so once I figured that out, I was like, "Just go get dark chocolate. Like, that's what you want out of this. Like, you're chasing all the chocolate bites. Why don't you just get that?"
yeah.
So I started incorporating that too, and slowly was able to reintroduce like those trigger foods. But again, just kind of acknowledging the things that kind of send you, um, and eliminating them so that you can rewire your brain for a period of time really, really helps because disordered eating really is a form of addiction.
Uh,
And especially with food, it can be really tricky trying to break that addiction cycle because we have to eat. So,
mhm.
it takes some time figuring out what those things are and then slowly reintroducing them.
Holy cow, this is crazy. So you take the time to kind of your first step was measuring where you were at and
Yeah.
deciding like that I can't do this anymore. And then from there you're like, okay, here's where I can go next. And you
Mhm.
start trying to eat a little bit just normal. You don't
Yeah.
even not even like you're like, okay, I'm gonna eat healthy. It's like, let me just get normal for a minute.
Yeah.
And then from there, like, were you also going to school for chiropractic? Like, what were you going to school for at the time?
So, I was in undergrad at the time, so I was working towards getting my degree in human biology.
Okay, so were you, like, learning about nutrition and all that stuff? Okay,
Mhm.
so it kinda
Which
all
made
made
the whole thing so much more comical because I'm
seriously.
like, you literally know better. But one of the most helpful resources that I found was a book called Fat Loss Forever that was written by Lane Norton. And that kind of became my new holy grail Bible for rehabbing myself and really trying to like repair my metabolism because he really teaches all about like reverse dieting, which reverse dieting means like if you are in a caloric deficit or low calories because you're trying to lose weight, even in a healthy way, what you wanna do after that is instead of going just hog wild eating whatever, you want to slowly increase your calories over time because then that can actually improve your metabolic threshold while still limiting how much fat gain that you have in the process. Because when you kind of just fire hose yourself with high calories again after being super low, you go through what I went through and you just kind of that's where the yo-yo dieting comes in. People who go through these intense diets and then go back to eating how they used to, your metabolism is slower after being in a deficit. And then if you overflow it with too much food too soon, it just adapts and then you store a lot of fat. Whereas if you were to slowly reintroduce the food and increase your calories slowly over time, you're actually able to maintain that lower weight and lower fat mass and have better body composition instead of just ruining everything that you work so hard to.
Wow. So, what did healing for you look like for your day to day? Like, what changes made the biggest difference for you?
Um, I really had to work on my self-talk.
Mm.
Like, more than any of the physical things or, like, what I was eating, so much of it was self-talk and really relearning that it's not about punishing yourself. Like, if I had a bad interaction or I felt dumb about something or if I didn't do as well on a test as I wanted to, in the past, I would punish myself by, cutting my food, like, not letting myself eat, or doing, like, a really hard workout or going on a really long run because I didn't deserve it. Like, I didn't deserve to feel good. I deserved to run myself into the ground because how dumb of you to do something like that. So, really working on just improving the self-talk and being okay with myself and being like, "You are human. This is part of the process of learning, and, like, you might not feel good about that interaction, but guess what? You're not gonna do it again, and that's okay." Like, people say dumb things all the time. Like, just yeah, like, you just have to own your side of the street and just move on from it and try and learn and grow and just have grace through the whole process.
Any industry that you're working in, you have to give yourself grace. I actually I mean, every day I make mistakes. Friday, I spent $300 on a client's ad when their budget was $30. So it's
Ooh.
yeah, so now I'm eating that, but it's like what got me through that was giving myself grace and the self-talk. Let's talk about, your physical health and business success.
Mhm.
What are some sneaky signs someone's health is holding them back? Even if they feel fine most days, like, what would be some signs like, "Actually, you're not as fine as you think you are?"
Oh, that's so good. Um, I think especially for women, and this can be very age dependent, but I think across the board, if you are feeling like just very volatile in your emotional range, I think
Ooh.
that's a very big indicator that something's off.
Do you think it comes
Whether
down to emotions, like how we're feeling emotionally?
yes, because especially if you are putting a lot of pressure on yourself because you have some big launch that you're going through or you have a really tough client that you're working with. You
Mm,
know, we're always going to have stress in our lives, and your ability to handle the stress is super important because you can let it run you or you can run with it. And if you're noticing that you're feeling constantly pummeled by the stress and the workload, and that's starting to manifest in over emotional reactions, which I'm not against being emotional at all, but there is a difference. Like, I'm sure you've experienced where you're like,
mhm.
wow, that was a very intense reaction I had for this situation. Like,
Oh my
this
god, yeah.
isn't even normal. I think that's one of the biggest clues of just being like, okay, what's going on here? Like, have I not been sleeping? Probably
Mhm,
not. That's a huge thing with people's health across the board. I think people really discount sleep, and thankfully, there's more and more conversations about the importance of sleep. The whole, like, "I'll sleep when I'm dead" thing has kind of evaporated because we've all realized, like, the long-term negative effects of not prioritizing your sleep, and I've definitely noticed that in myself. Like, if I'm not getting enough sleep, I suddenly turn into, like, a pouty five-year-old. Like, it's not good for anyone if I'm not getting good sleep. And that's not to say you have to get like 9 or 10 hours of sleep to feel like a top performer, but even just trying to get 7 hours of sleep really makes a huge difference. And then if you're also combining all of the workload stress and you're putting yourself through these high intensity workouts,
Mm,
like, I know a lot of people, especially women, love to chase those high calorie burn, high intensity hit style workouts because you get those feel good endorphins, but it's actually really taxing to your nervous system. And you're not even actually changing your overall body composition if that's all that you're doing for your workouts. Like, you really wanna be prioritizing strength training workouts in a way that focuses on progressions over time while allowing your body to recover, and then you can sprinkle in those fun high intensity workouts, but they can't just be your end all be all because, again, your nervous system, especially as women, or if you have autoimmune issues, it's just going to retaliate like no other, and you're gonna experience those sleep disturbances, mood changes, irritability, things like that.
mm. This is like you're speaking to me is all I can say. Like, last week, it was such a stressor. Husband was out of the country. I'm having really bad flare-ups right now with my autoimmune disorder and, like, my skin issues, but the emotional triggers, like, you're right, like, I had some conversations with friends where, like, my response to them, I was feeling really angry inside, and then I'm like, "Why are you getting so angry at these little things?" But I think it's a mix of my stressors and my health and all that. So for someone like me, I mean, this is the perfect example to give someone. Where would you tell me I'm a business owner, I've got so much going on, I manage people, I have kids, I have stressors, like, walk me through what you would tell me to do if I wanted to get my life together and, like, say, the next 90 days, the next 6 months, what are some really important things I would wanna do?
Mhm. Well, I think especially for you and your Hashimoto's, you really have to be cognizant about how you're working out and also the food that you're eating. So specifically with food, across the board, every single person really needs to prioritize a high protein diet. So my rule of thumb, if you don't have someone who can give you like specific targets based on like age, gender, current activity level, all the things, like you want to pick your goal weight. So let's say you want to weigh 115 pounds. You would want to try and consume 1 gram of protein for that 115 pounds. So for you, you would want to shoot for 115 grams of protein per day.
Oh my
Now
god.
it's yes, yes. So
What?
if you were someone who is overweight, and let's say you're like 200 pounds, but you have a goal weight of wanting to weigh 130, then same thing. You would try and get 130 grams of protein per day. And then the other thing is with Hashimoto's or thyroid issues, there's a lot of research showing that you want to avoid gluten products because that can be really irritating to the system. So I'd really encourage you in this example just to make sure that you are avoiding gluten and grains just because that really helps decrease inflammation.
Mm.
And then strength training workouts are such a game changer for women across the board, but especially for Hashi ladies, and really trying to avoid those high intensity, crazy workouts like Orange Theory style workouts are not going to be your jam.
That's
Like,
good to know because they're not. I'm
yeah.
like I mostly am just a walker. I'll try to
Mhm.
walk 2 or 3 miles a day, and then, like, maybe I'll throw in Pilates or yoga, but, like, I'm just not high strength training, none of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think strength training, it'd be so good to add into your routine just because of all of the benefits for like building lean muscle and things like that. And even if you try to get like 2 to 3 days of strength training, and it doesn't have to be like hour long workouts, even just 30 minutes, and doing like a full body style where you have like good rest periods and you're focusing on progressive overload where you're really trying to increase your strength over time. I think that's really, really going to help not only change your body, but really help improve your overall physiological response to stress
Mm.
and also
Wait,
optimize.
so there's a connection between strength training and stress?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah. So with strength training, you're going to be building more muscle with that. And the more lean tissue you have, the overall improved physiological function you're going to have in your whole system.
Oh my
So,
god.
insulin sensitivity is going to increase because the more lean tissue you have, so muscle, your insulin receptors become more sensitive to any of the carbohydrates that you consume because it kind of opens up these little like mouth pockets in your muscles. And the more muscle you have, the more of these pockets you have for your insulin to regulate. Now, if you have more fat than muscle, that really kind of turns against you. And that's where you start to run into things like insulin resistance. And then you're at a higher risk for diabetes and other metabolic conditions, which can really make things a lot more spicy in a way that we don't want.
Mm.
And so, decreasing or overall improving your insulin sensitivity really helps decrease total body inflammation, which the less inflammation you have, the better you're going to feel. It's also really great for regulating your hormones because thyroid is a hormone, but also your sex hormones, especially estrogen, can be very prominent in fat. And the less fat you have, the less estrogen dominance you're going to have as well. And this is also going to help improve your overall liver function and detox pathways. And for people with autoimmune conditions or other genetic conditions like the MTHFR gene mutations, you can be an actual poor detoxer. So, having more lean tissue just has so much benefit for improving the overall function of all of your organs and tissues.
That's insane. You are so incredibly knowledgeable on all of this. I didn't even realize, like, you know what? I feel like there's some people that don't realize, like, would you are you with you being in chiropractic, are you a functional doctor? What do what do
Yeah,
you
so we chiropractors, there's so many different versions of chiropractors anymore,
I
but
know, that's why I'm like, what are you?
yeah, what do you do? And it's so funny because I will get patients, and my husband's actually a chiropractor too. So we both get this testimony from new patients. They're like, I've been to chiropractors and they do some weird things. And I'm like, I know. We're like the biggest skeptics of chiropractic too. I totally get it. I totally get it. But
You're so
we're not going to do any of the
knowledgeable.
weird stuff. But my husband and I, we are very into just overall longevity practices. And especially in chiropractic education, they really do focus on trying to do more of the holistic natural healing approach and trying to do things as less invasive as possible because your body is very brilliant. We
Yeah.
just have to get out of our own way and remove the things that cloud the body's judgment of things. And you can really do that by just sticking to the basics. And the basics are not sexy, but they really, really work. And I think that's where people get lost in the noise, especially with social media. There's so much information. And I love social media. I think it's a great tool and you can learn so much. But especially with the clients I work with, there's just so much and they don't know how to apply it to themselves.
Mhm.
And
Information
so
overload. Yeah.
yeah. So I really like to take my background in education with the whole physiology, anatomy, longevity practices and incorporate it into all of my client work because it's kind of like I take all the information, I look at you, and I'm like, this is what we're going to do for you because this is what works. And if
Mhm.
you were to text me, be like, hey, I saw this supplement or this new routine. Do you think it's good for me? It's kind of like I'm your AI assistant. And I'm like, yeah, no, don't do that. Or yes, let's try
Ooh,
it.
ooh. Okay. What are some, like, I know you confidentiality with patients and stuff, but what are some ailments that your current clients that you're helping, what are they
Mhm.
facing right now?
So, one of my newest clients, which I'm so excited to be working with, she has tried so many different GLP-1s and
Mm.
they've never worked for her. And I think, especially with GLP-1s, um, people think it's going to be the secret sauce, which it is. It's amazing the research around GLP-1s, the overall health benefits that come along with it. especially when you pair it with lifestyle changes. But if you aren't implementing the lifestyle changes, you can certainly eat your way through the medication. Like, just because you're taking the medication doesn't mean you're going to instantly lose 20 pounds in 30 days, which, even on those medications, I highly recommend that doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah.
um, but working with her, she started the she started trizepatide, and at the same time, she started working with me. And since then, she has been actually losing weight. Like, she lost 8 pounds in 4 weeks with me. And for someone like her, like, she has kids, she has a very demanding job, a husband, trying to have a social life, all the things.
Mhm.
And so for her to finally start to see results after multiple attempts of taking these drugs and trying to change her lifestyle, and doing all these fad diets on top of that, and us working together, she's actually seeing results and she's still living her life and enjoying the foods that she wants to eat, has been so rewarding. And she is just feeling so optimistic and hopeful too, because she feels like she can still live her life
Mm.
and not suffer through the process. Like, she's having so much fun with it. And I think that's the most important thing for all of my clients, is just to learn how to achieve those body changes and learn how to do the dance with it so that it is really fun and enjoyable. Because I think people just get stuck in this, like, it's almost like a religion where you can't do this, you can't do that, and you're going to go to hell if you do this, with like
Right.
diets and exercise.
Yes.
Learn to just have fun with it and have flexibility with it too. You're gonna be able to stick to it for a much longer time.
Okay, before I get into some rapid fire questions with you to wrap up, what would you say to someone who feels too busy to prioritize their wellness?
Well, how's that working out for you?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we're all busy. Um, we literally are all busy. And I think it really boils down to, what do you want to feel like today? And what do you want to feel like 5 years from now? What do you want to feel like 10 years from now? Because I think we get so caught up in, you know, the plan that we have for our lives. But especially as women, we get so caught up in taking care of everyone else that we oftentimes put ourselves last.
Mm,
And it can feel really selfish to prioritize yourself, to take care of yourself, but it's absolutely necessary, because if you don't, you're not taking care of everyone else in the way that you want to be taking care of them. Like
mm,
you mentioned before, when you were talking to your friends and you felt really mad and angry with some of the things, like, you don't want to feel that way.
mm-mm,
And part of that is just the stress of the week that you were going through, and that's part of life. Like, nothing's ever going to always be sunshine and rainbows. But I think really thinking about, like, how do you want to mentally, emotionally, and spiritually feel today, but also for the rest of your life? Because when you get to be 60, 70, 80, 90, it's a lot harder to implement these healthy habits and get things set up. Whereas if you start now, it's just like if you were investing into the stock market, you're going to have this positive compounding interest build up over time.
mm,
So if you're 70 and you slip and fall, you can pick yourself up if you've been working and training and building your strength. But if you
mm.
haven't been doing that and you're a woman and you're 70 and you fall, you're probably going to break your hip. And breaking your hip is kind of like the death sentence in the healthcare industry,
Oh,
because it can be very, very difficult to recover from that depending on your overall physical status at the time. So really looking at things, what are my priorities? Not everything can be a priority in that moment, but long term, how are those priorities going to affect your long-term health and life in the end? And Dr. Peter Attia, he does such a great job of explaining levers. Like, we all have different levers in our life. So you can have like your health, your family, social, work. And sometimes some of those levers can't be pulled all the way down because you have to focus on other things.
mm,
So let's say you're launching something, you have a really cool project that you're excited about. So, what do you need to do to feel really good through that whole process so that it's successful? Obviously, your work lever is going to be pulled all the way because that needs to get done. But what are the other levers that you need to pull to help this lever perform at its best. So for me, when I'm going through seasons where I have a big goal and I'm pulling on my work lever, which is my favorite one to pull, it's my
Me too.
favorite one. I'm like, okay, my other priority is my husband, spending time with my husband. I need to make that a priority because he is my grounding force. He helps me like stay on earth,
Yep.
makes me feel really good and safe. So I always prioritize that with him. And it's also our marriage. Like it's very important to me. And then my other one is my workouts and my sleep and what I'm putting in my body. And then all the other things, I'm like, I might not be as social as I want to be, but I know that this is just for this season right now.
So good. Okay. Let's do some quick little rapid fire and then
Yeah, I love these.
yay. Okay, morning routine in one sentence.
Oh, like what do I do?
Yeah.
uh Journal and coffee and makeup.
Okay, okay, journaling though. You're taking some
Yeah.
time for yourself to reflect. Love that.
Yep.
Um, Favorite easy go-to meals for busy days that are still healthy, keep us on our feet.
Um I'm such a creature of habit. My favorite lunch, like lunch always just needs to be like mindless. Like I just need to make it easy. But I love doing quinoa and
Ooh,
then I do ground turkey with like taco seasoning and then I add salsa, heat
yum.
it up, and that's it.
Okay, that's easy and yum. Okay,
It's so good.
love it. Health trend you actually think is worth it right now?
Mm, there's so many. Um, I love walking. I mean, strength training is so important. I think everyone should prioritize that, but I think walking is a game changer for mental health, physical health, everything.
Get your money walking. I gotta do
Yes.
no, I don't do any strength training, and actually, when I got my blood work, my creatine is low, which I read that has to do with your muscles and all that stuff
Yep.
too. So stupid when it comes to your health, but I'm learning. So I'm definitely
We'll
gonna
chat after this. We'll get
yes,
something worked up for you.
yes, yes. And then, one thing you wish every entrepreneur knew about their body.
How you take care of your body is a reflection of your business.
Ooh, I like that.
And I the better you feel in your body, the more powerful you are and the more you're going to want to use your voice
Mm.
and get it done.
100%. I agree with that so much. Okay, tell us how can people connect with you? What if they want to work with you? What you got on the menu right now? Tell us all the things.
Okay. So, best way to connect with me is on my Instagram. So, my Instagram is Dr. Sienna Olson. I actually created a free download with a worksheet, and it's called The Truth About Carbs. So, if you want to learn all about carbohydrates, how to eat them, how you can implement them into your routine without cutting out all the things that you love,
Mm,
that way you can actually boost your energy, hormones, metabolism. You can send me a DM with the word carbs, and I will send that to you, and it's totally free. I'm accepting a couple more one on one clients, but I do have an exciting new group coaching offer that's coming out this fall. So stay tuned for that. I'm so excited for it.
I'm excited for you.
Um,
Tell us about for your one-on-one coaching. Is it like a monthly thing? Is it reoccurring? Like, tell us more about how that works. Because I'm in
so for yeah, so for my one on one clients, I offer either nutrition, macro diet um, packages,
okay.
or we can do custom workouts. You can also combine the two together to really maximize your results, which I highly recommend doing. For the nutrition side of things, the minimum commitment is 4 months, just because that's how long it really takes to build in the habits and also see the results.
Good to
I would
know.
say on average, most people like to start with 6 months just because, especially with the clients that I have and workload, hormones, metabolism things, 6 months really is the sweet spot for a good runway of change.
Good to know. And ladies, with the holiday, I know with the holidays coming up, it's going to be very hard with like that stuff. So now's the perfect time to reach out to.
Yes.
Right. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed having you. Thank you so much, friend. I'm going to link her Instagram and her offerings into the show notes for you guys. But it was a pleasure talking to you about our health. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
You're so welcome. Bye, guys.